Ladies and gentlemen, Violet Games here. Gonna be doing another God of War guide for the Give Me God of War difficulty, because it's hard. So anyways, shout out to Fecal Excrement for leaving a nice comment. He really inspired me to do this video, said the gods were helping him out, and if I can make a difference in one person's life with these videos, I feel like I've done something positive in the world. Maybe my karma will improve, not likely. But anyhow, today we're going to be talking about Atreus' armor. And I'm going to be going over all of the armor sets as such. There appears to be 3 in each tier. I'm on the blue tier right now, so keep in mind there's probably tiers after that, but I'm going to start this video on the blue tier. And I think you're going to want to stick with a certain tier anyhow, just based on what's already given to you with these current tiers. So let's jump into the video, and I'll explain each armor set as we go. So first off, we have the Superior Runic Vestment, or the Runic Vestment tier of armor. So first passive that it's going to grant you is it's going to greatly increase Atreus' recovery speed from enemy attacks. This passive is worthless, because Atreus' recovery speed is already fast, so just write that one off right away. After that, we have Health Stone Assist. Atreus will sometimes find health stones when Kratos is injured. The key word here, guys, is sometimes. When you have a passive that is sometimes useful, that's when you need to stick your middle finger up and say no. No, sometimes I will flip you off. So the one after that is Health Stone Enhancement, and it increases the Health Stone potency. Now, I'll admit, I have not tested this out to see the potency of these Health Stones. However, the fact that you get them sometimes is kind of a dick move by Atreus. You know, when your dad is injured, you don't sometimes not help him out. Like, fucking dick. But anyhow, unless these health stones are going to fully recharge your health, it's not going to be a big deal on the Give Me God of War difficulty, because one hit is probably going to make up that difference anyhow when you're going to die anyways. So I don't really find this passive that useful regardless. So I don't recommend the Runic Vestments at all as an armor set. Just stay away from that. It's just utterly worthless to me. So next up we have the, oh my gosh, Sal, what the hell? So next up we have the Fighter Tunic armor sets. So let's just go over some of the passives that are currently available for me. So first off, we have greatly increases Atreus' melee damage. This is good in theory, because, you know, more damage is always kind of nice, but there are also some problems with that. For example, if you're fighting a mob and he whacks a dude over the head that's almost at half, and you're focusing another target, he could set that guy to enrage, which isn't always a good thing, because when they're enraged, they no longer can be juggled, and they do more damage, and they take less damage, so there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. Furthermore, the consistency of him actually using melee attacks is kind of moderate. Like, sometimes he'll, like, do melees when it's always unnecessary and it feels worthless a lot of the time. And other times he'll straight up not do it at all in a fight. And then you're just kind of like, well, now I have this armor that is literally just doing nothing. So you get where I'm going with that. It lacks consistency, and that is the main problem. So, next passive, Expose Weakness. Enemies choked by Atreus will take increased damage. Now, this only really benefits one type of fighting style, and that's when you're using weapons. Because when he's choking the enemies, the only modifier you're getting is damage by weapon, which could be very useful, but however, not all enemies are really susceptible to the damage fighting style in this game. Some enemies, I feel like it's better to use stun, and I feel like this lacks flexibility. And then after that, we get Enhanced Strikes, increases stun damage inflicted by Atreus' melee attacks. So it kind of makes the melee attacks both good for offense and defense. However, you never really combine the two. You're usually going to go for one or the other when it comes to applying damage to any given enemy in the game. And also, like I said before, it's inconsistent and out of your control when he decides to melee or not. So ultimately, I think the Fighter Tunic has potential to be useful, but it's up to Atreus entirely to make it useful. You know, if Atreus is not in the mood to drop kick a motherfucker in the head or choke out a Draugr, you're not going to be able to benefit from this. Additionally, if he chokes out the enemy you don't want to fight, then you're not going to make use of the exposed weakness passive either. So ultimately, I feel like this is, again, kind of a niche type of armor set. It could be useful, it couldn't be useful, but I wouldn't completely write it off as useless. So let's go into the tier of armor that I think is going to be the best throughout the entire game, and that is the Sharpshooter Garb. Any form of the Sharpshooter Garb is going to be useful, guys. So let's go into each and every perk, and basically you're going to get a lot of use out of every single rank because you have the most control out of all the armor sets. So first off, it greatly reduces the Talon Bow's recharge time. Now the thing that's great about the Talon Bow is that you choose when Atreus uses it. And another thing that's good about the Talon Bow, it's really fucking powerful if you upgrade it. And you should upgrade it with all your solid steel before you even upgrade your armor that I recommended in a previous video. Before you even upgrade that armor set, you should upgrade the Talon Bow with as much solid steel as possible before the hard steel tier, and get all of the perk ranks that Atreus has available. Don't max out the Leviathan Axe. A lot of the attacks in the Leviathan Axe are actually kind of useless in my opinion. I might go into a video with that as well. But definitely you're going to want to max out Atreus just completely on both trees because they're both useful. And this is why the Sharpshooter Garb is going to be really effective. So greatly reducing the Talon Bow's arrow recharge time is going to give you so much combo potential and so much damage potential because Atreus does heaps of damage and heaps of stuns with his light arrow and electricity arrows fully upgraded. So next up, we have aimed shots. Enemies in the air take increased damage. This greatly increases the effectiveness of your combos, guys. If you want to stun an enemy, get them in a juggle, so get him airborne, start spamming arrows at him, and then he's going to take increased damage. Not only that, but you're going to be able to reset your combos faster because of the superior recharge time as well. And you're just going to be able to barrage enemies to death. And speaking of barrage, the third perk we have is called Barrage. And it's when rapid firing, the last arrow inflicts increased damage. Now, with a lot of the skills that you upgrade with Atreus and as well as his quiver, you increase the speed at which he fires. So you're already having passives and skills that are already increasing the effectiveness of this on top of his armor increasing it additionally, so it's stacking. So basically Atreus becomes a DPS tank as well as a stun tank, and he just becomes absurdly effective as a result of this. When you're juggling an enemy in the air, you're going to get a multiplier both from aimed shot and barrage at the same time, making your air combos infinitely better. And even when you're not taking advantage of that, you're getting an overall DPS increase from Atreus across the spectrum, both in damage and stun, and you have direct control over which he uses and when he uses it. This is why Atreus' Sharpshooter Garb is by far the best, and when I equipped this blue set, like in general, Atreus carried me through certain rooms of the game. Like, he became such a badass that I used him in a way that is almost, or actually, it's more useful than me just lobbing my Leviathan Axe at enemies. It's more effective. I can turtle if I want to and let Atreus deal ranged damage. And you can, like, literally just cower in some instances, like with some of the what are they called, the travelers. You can even like turtle against travelers and have Atreus just spam them with arrows until they die. And in one particular room, I was doing a side quest for a dwarf where I was finding a whetstone. There was this group of wolves that kept killing me, but when Atreus had his shock arrows and had those shock arrows fully upgraded, he just stunned them infinitely and the wolves could barely do shit to me, and we cleared that room so easily. This is the best armor for Atreus. I am telling you, I do not see any other armor set being as effective. Number one reason being is because you as a player have 100% control over every single passive that is available. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope you have some guidance in God of War. And yeah, Let me know if you disagree with me as well, because I know that the Give Me God of War difficulty definitely makes this armor set more effective. You could probably get away with the melee set or even the life gem set on the easier difficulties, depending on how you wanted to play. But this armor set just has so many benefits to it, guys, even on those difficulties. Atreus being like both damage and stun focused and having that flexibility in combat is just huge. And it is so powerful. It is shockingly powerful. And I can't help but recommend this. Like, it turned Atreus into one of my favorite companions in any video game ever. You know, he's a sweet kid, and he's a fucking badass. He went from the boy to the man. This is the armor set for you guys, I am telling you. Anyways, I'm rambling on now. This is Violent Games signing off. You got contrary compliments or contrary comments, leave them in the comments section. I do view my comments, and I appreciate all of y'all. Thanks for stopping by.